I'm joined now by former U.S. Senate candidate in Wisconsin, Mandela Barnes. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So you have an exciting announcement today. Floor is yours.
Yeah, making an exciting announcement that I am running for governor of the state of Wisconsin. Really excited to be in this race. We find ourselves at a critical moment, as so many other people do all across the entire country. What we're in need of right now is leadership. People are going to stand up and fight and do the right thing. All across Wisconsin, working families are struggling, and Donald Trump is making life increasingly more difficult for people. Our family farmers, our small business owners, working class families in general are feeling the pinch. We got rising costs, utilities, housing, you name it. And folks are just in need of some relief. And that's why I decided to get in this race to show up and lower costs for day one, on day one.
You know, a lot of Republicans are gonna see that, and they're gonna say, "Well, we're running the same exact kind of campaign." And so, if you have Republican candidates and Democratic candidates both touting affordability, why should they believe you and not believe Republicans?
That's a really good question. And I can tell you right now, look who's in control of the White House. Look who's in control of Congress. And the decisions that are being made in Washington, D.C. are having an impact on families right in Wisconsin. And it's not a positive impact, it's a negative impact. These rising costs are due to tariffs. These rising costs are due to Donald Trump's selfishness, putting himself and his family members before the American people. And that pinch is being felt especially hard in Wisconsin. Our family farmers, as I mentioned before, soybean farmers, we hear from all the time, who are dealing with this difficulty and having to adjust to this new reality. And we can't just sit here and say, oh, there's relief in sight, because we know what it would take to provide some relief. The president just refuses to act.
You know, we have obviously paid a lot of attention to Wisconsin over the better part of a decade, really. And I'm curious, for those Republican voters out there, for those independent voters out there, what's your plan to reach out to them? Because, you know, we hear that Wisconsin's a 50-50 state. We have plenty of results that show that, in fact, Wisconsin can be very deferential to Democrats, can be very fertile ground for Democrats. But at the same time, just a few years ago, Wisconsin voted in Ron Johnson to the U.S. Senate. And so, you know, there is a slice of the electorate that's certainly up for grabs in that state. What's your plan to appeal to those folks?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I'm glad you are paying attention to Wisconsin for the last decade. It's a unique place. It's very interesting. It's a place I'm so proud to call home. Now, Wisconsin is a 50-50 state. I remember in 2018, in my race for lieutenant governor, where we beat one of the most difficult, one of the most powerful incumbent governors in the entire country. A lot of people didn't think it was possible. He won in 2010, was reelected in another election in 2014, and can't forget about the recall election in 2012. People thought he's invincible, but we showed up and we talked to people all across Wisconsin. And people say, well, what do you say to rural voters? What do you say to voters in Milwaukee? It's the same exact thing. People want good schools to send their children to. People want a job that puts food on the table. People want to be able to go to a doctor without worrying about a surprise bill. It's not too different when you travel to different corners and different pockets of Wisconsin. And unfortunately, Wisconsin did go to Donald Trump in the 24 election by a very narrow margin. And a part of it is because he lied to people. He lied to residents across Wisconsin. He said he was going to lower costs. He said he was going to make things better, and he did not. And the focus can't be on how bad Donald Trump is. It has to be about our plan as Democrats. But at the same time, Donald Trump, as president, has to be held accountable for his actions and his enablers in Congress who allow this to go on. And we're carrying that message all across Wisconsin. I'm showing up everywhere. Doesn't matter if you're a county that voted for Donald Trump or otherwise. We're going to sit down. We're going to have conversations with people, with our small business owners, again, with our family farmers. We're going to show up to factories, because this is the real world impact that needs to be on display. So many folks can't afford basic necessities. As I mentioned, utility costs are going through the roof. Housing costs are going through the roof, and groceries as well. And this isn't specific to any political party. Take the politics out of it. It's about the bread and butter. It's about the money that people are having to spend that they don't even have at the end of the day, and who's going to show up and who's going to fight for them. And I make it very clear. It doesn't matter if you voted for me in the past or not. It doesn't matter if you voted for Donald Trump in the past or not. I'm going to show up. I'm going to fight like hell for you.
Mandela, how does the concept of generational change factor into your campaign?
Well, generational change, is necessary, right? You have to meet the moment. We are in a very unique moment right now. And when I say generational change, it doesn't even mean age. There are folks who are 20, 30 years older than me, who I believe have an opportunity to be in this fight as well. It is about the ideas more than it is the generation in which a person was born or came to be in politics. Are your ideas, is your vision on track with the direction of this country or the way that it should be going or not? This is about boldness. This is about standing up to a president who seems to have it out for working people. And that's one reality that's hard for me to wrestle with, because he sold folks a bill of goods. He had people believing that he was going to make things better, and he has not done that. And in this moment, who is going to stand up and say enough is enough? You're not going to continue to get over on the working people of Wisconsin. You're not going to continue to get over on our small business owners. You're not going to continue to take advantage of us for not just your political gain, because the president has shown that so much of this is for his own personal gain.
You know, in terms of Trump having lied, sold a bill of goods to so many people, in terms of the Republican Party more broadly, kind of deferring to him and allowing him to perpetuate this con, the reality is that this is a group of Republicans for whom shame doesn't really factor in. And so in the same way that they have lied thus far to give cover to Donald Trump, who's to say that they won't do it again? We would be fools to think that they wouldn't just continue on lying to folks. And so how do you intend on I guess overcoming that obstacle on the campaign trail, with regard to attacks against you, with regard to what they promise Wisconsinites, whatever it may be? Again, this is a group of people, a political party for whom shame doesn't really mean anything. And so if it means they have to lie, then so be it.
Shame, embarrassment, like these people should absolutely, one, be held accountable for their dereliction of duty. They need to be judged by the things that they say versus the things that they do. And what they have done is absolutely nothing in the face of what has become chaos in the lives of so many people across Wisconsin. Now, there's a choice that Republicans in Congress make every single day. Are they going to show up for their constituents, or are they going to show up for Donald Trump? Too often the case is they show up for Donald Trump and leave their constituents behind. And members of the delegation here in Wisconsin are no different, including the Republican frontrunner, Tom Tiffany.
For those who are looking at your campaign and want to help, what can they do?
They can go to mandelabarnes.com. We need folks to sign up, to volunteer, people to sign up to donate. This will be a costly campaign. All eyes are always on Wisconsin. When you are a 50-50 state, there means it's a lot of attention, a lot of special interests that we'll be fighting up against. And the only thing I have is the people who are going to show up.
Great. Well, I'm going to put that link to your campaign right here on the screen and also in the post description. If you're listening on the podcast, I'll put it in the show notes of this episode. Thank you for taking the time today. Best of luck in the campaign trail.
For sure. Thank you so much.